After weeks of speculation and the urging of the damage report, unfortunately, it looks like Marjorie Greene is not actually going to be running for the Senate in Georgia. But it's not because she's terrified. It's not because she knows from the polls that she would lose. It's not because Donald Trump and Brian Kemp were seemingly behind the scenes pressuring her not to. No, it's not that at all, okay? She has an explanation, or I'll say a cover story as to why she's deciding not to run after talking it up so much over the past few weeks. She said, someone once said, the Senate is where good ideas go to die. They were right. That's why I'm not running. Here's the hard truth. The Senate doesn't work. It's designed to obstruct the will of the people and protect the uniparty's grip on power. Nearly everything requires 60 votes to pass. And even when we have a majority, a pack of Republican senators always votes no on the bills that matter most. And I understand on some level her concern about the Senate. Now, if you have that concern, one would think you'd want to go into the Senate so that the uniparty would have one less person it could reliably count on, rather than not running and just letting the uniparty. So it doesn't actually make any sense when you think about it. But anyway, she said, this isn't cowardice. Beating Jon Ossoff, that would be easy. According to the polls, it would not be, but she says it would be easy. He's a silver spoon progressive who's never held a real job or worried about putting a roof over his family's head. So Jon Ossoff, you can stop with the funding emails and campaign ads claiming I'm your opponent. I'm not running. I say to Jon Ossoff, keep doing that. Just keep doing it, whatever. Also, I love the idea that she's like, he's never had to worry about putting a roof over his family head. She was born into a family with money. She was given a contracting business. She never had to worry about putting a roof over her family. She was given millions of dollars, which is fine. But like, don't then pretend that everybody else is being given all this money. By the way, he has had real jobs. He was a documentary filmmaker, an investigative journalist, a national security staffer, and legislative assistant for US Representative Hank Johnson, because he actually took both the real world issues and the work of legislators seriously. She just stalked kids around Washington, D.C. Also, that documentary filmmaking he did, he worked with reporters to document corruption in foreign countries, including war crimes committed by ISIS and East African death squads. That's real work, man. I know it's not your podcast, Marge, but that's serious work in the media. And that doesn't mean that I love Jon Ossoff on every issue or whatever, but he has had real jobs. And so I don't know. This is like, theoretically, this is good news for the Republicans because she was polling literally the worst for any potential Republican to take on Jon Ossoff. So I guess it's good news for them and bad news for us. But it just caps off a really funny couple of weeks, JR. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, to more on the silver spoon progressive and never had to work to put food over his family's table and put food, whatever the hell he's talking about. She supports a president who's, he was told he's a working class stiff. The guy really had to get his hands dirty in the world. Was never given anything. Always had to work to put like a roof over his family's head. Really tough how this guy worked out. Man, this guy was not rich at all. Wasn't given anything. Wasn't bailed out of every failure he's had up to this moment. Right now, never. This guy's like a gritty, hard-working guy. He only took pictures in some gold-plated room with his kids sitting on some fake line while he's in a gold-plated chair. That's all. That's only the person that I was willing to support. Like, they have to come up with a reason. I think you've pointed out the reasons why, particularly why this isn't going to be going down anymore. But you need some like writers, maybe they're like comedic writers, to come up with something to give an excuse as to why you're not going to run anymore. I mean, I get it. You can't just say, damn, I floated the idea that I might run and I found out that I just might not win. So instead, I think I'm gonna stay put here until I get a better opportunity later on to go to that garbage place called the Senate where nothing ever gets done and ideas go to die. Well, I mean, I guess the outside, you talking about good and bad news. The last piece of good news with this, at least she's not gonna come back on the network.
Well,
the chances aren't there anymore. So she has no reason to sanitize herself any further with her fake.
She has more time though. I guess. In any event, yeah. And look, I don't know why I feel this need to like defend Jon Ossoff after her nonsense or whatever. When he got elected, he was the youngest senator elected since like 1980. It's actually impressive. I literally, I don't even know how he did it, honestly. But like, again, I would beat him easy. Like, why don't you tell the pollsters that? Can we jump ahead to graphic 5? She was down by so many points, 54-37. It would have been a hilarious election if she would run. It unfortunately now, like it's likely that they'll find some Republican that, with the state being as even as it is, if they don't have like a very well-known like name, or it'll probably be pretty close. We'll see. It could be a competitive thing, but she would have been absolutely destroyed. And apologies to the TDR. I don't know why I did this flippity floppity the way I did, but if we go to graphic 4, the reports were that Trump and Brian Kemp were coordinating behind the scenes to try to figure out how to, back her off. And like that probably happened. We don't know for sure, but Trump could have easily called her or whatever and been like, you need to back off. And in return, maybe, like, we know that she doesn't actually want to be in Congress. She doesn't like the work of doing the legislature and stuff like that. She doesn't take it seriously. She'll probably get some sort of position in his administration. Like maybe in return for not going for the Senate, he puts her in charge of some department. I mean, she won't know anything about that either, but that's never stopped her. So I don't know. And
one last thing.
I'm sorry. No, you get the final.
I always look for the opening. Pay attention to, she had her positions that sound like they were somewhat sane. Pay attention to see if she continues to go down those lines of populist positions that she wants to talk about and actually implement and do something different in her work. Just pay attention. Maybe I'm not making any predictions. I'm just curious to see. So pay attention from the point of her pulling back from this opportunity to then going to whether or not she's still gonna be talking about doing something that's a little more middle to the road.
That's a great point. Also, has anybody else noticed that if you're a progressive, there's no background you can have? Like if you're Jon Ossoff, even if you have jobs, she'll imply that he's rich, so it doesn't count. If you're AOC, you literally work your way up as a community activist and bartender, well then you're just a filthy freaking, I almost swore right there, effing peasant, so you don't count. So there's nothing you can do as a progressive that's an acceptable background to the woman, again, who was born into a wealthy family and was given a business worth like $20 million or something like that. Just to be clear, there's no background. Hey, by the way, my parents collectively had 1 semester of college. Is that okay? Am I just a filthy peasant that shouldn't be talking about politics, or is that I would love to know. I would love to know, but be nice. Anyway, with that said, we're gonna jump to other news. And again, I'm so needlessly nice to her. There's nothing wrong with her being given a business. It's great to be able to pass on a business to your family, but then understand that that's a privilege you have. So when you go to judge other people's families and backgrounds, maybe understand that that's the privilege you have. I didn't have that privilege. My family didn't pass down anything like that. If you enjoyed that, make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming an actual member. But you're probably wondering, why the hell would I do that, John? First off, calm down. The stakes in this are very, very low. But also, when you click the join button and you become a member, you get access to bonus content that I make every week, and it's a ton of fun. You get access to tons of custom emojis and more besides that. By the way, if you join at tier 3, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself and other awesome people, and we always have a great time. By the way, you'll get all that going forward, but you also unlock years of the back catalog. That is literally 100 or more bonus clips, top 10 lists, debates, and more. What are you waiting for? Click the join button below. Your support powers our show, and we couldn't do it without you. Or at the very least, I wouldn't really want to try. Viewers like you keep me here. So thank you in advance for joining.